From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning and welcome to our Saturday showcase. I'm Max Darrow. Thanks for joining us. We begin this morning with small spaces. In San Quentin, Lauren Toms explores a new push to give those behind bars a little bit more elbow room. In Berkeley, Andrea Nakano dives into a fierce debate over the 5 feet surrounding your house. But we begin in Campbell, California, where Len Ramirez is looking into one small space with a larger-than-life impact.
The sleek, modern ADU arrived on the back of a semi-truck, ready to be lifted by crane and installed in the backyard of a Campbell home, all in just one day.
Samara just checked a lot of boxes, so...
That's Owen, the homeowner, who says it's going to be a game changer for his extended family.
Mainly for my parents or in-laws. They like to come visit and stay with us for a couple months every once in a while, to spend more time with their grandkids. And so we thought having this dedicated space that's detached from the main house would really make everyone feel more comfortable.
ADUs, or accessory dwelling units, are small but versatile, usually ranging from 400 to 1,200 square feet. They're used as in-law suites, rentals, home offices, even housing for adult children. Samara, the Redwood City company that manufactured this home, says it's part of a broader strategy to address housing shortages without drastically changing a neighborhood's character. And with new zoning laws in cities like Campbell, the process of getting permits has become easier and faster.
Campbell has a great program called the ADU Express Plan Check, and we were able to get a permit submitted and issued in 7 days. So this customer signed with us just before the new year, and they're going to be in this home, in less than 6 months here in June.
Once the house was secured to the crane, it was gently hoisted into the air and lifted about 50 feet over Owen's main home. Neighbors gathered around to watch, and after only about 8 minutes, crews guided the unit onto its pre-made foundation.
Very exciting. It looks bigger in person. I think one of the neighbors says that's one of the most exciting things that's happened on the street.
Owen says the total cost of this one-bedroom, one-bath home was about $300,000, including the cost of the unit about $170,000, plus transportation and installation. A deck will be added to the front porch area, and there will still be plenty of space left in the yard. Experts say ADUs are here to stay.
You show up, there's a foundation, and at the end of the day, home drops out of the sky, and there's your home.
It's a flexible, more affordable alternative in a tough housing market, and for families like Owen's, it's not just a structure, it's a solution.
From extra space to a place no one wants to be. Let's get to Lauren Toms on some new prison reform at San Quentin.
When you think about being confined in that type of space 24 hours a day with another human that you don't know, it becomes tense quickly and can become tense.
Ken Oliver spent nearly 24 years behind bars. 8 of those years were spent in solitary confinement. It was there, alone, in the space the size of a closet, where he found clarity and focus to turn his life around.
I literally turned my cell into a law library and studied the law for 4 years. I had thousands of cases in my cell, books and everything else, and had I had a cellmate, I would not have been able to do that.
Since his release, he's become an advocate for justice reforms. He supports a new assembly bill that would require at least 10% of prison populations to be housed in single occupancy cells. It would start as a pilot program with 4 state facilities, and Ken says if it passes, it can give more inmates a shot at true rehabilitation.
It causes less stress. When I'm forced to navigate that with another person, I'm actually restricting a piece of myself or repressing a piece of myself because there's another human being in close proximity that, if I don't do that, may cause violence.
It is probably the most unimaginable partnership between a district attorney and inmates in a prison.
The bill has an unlikely ally in San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins. She says her partnership with inmates at San Quentin, whom she calls residents, has given her a deeper understanding of their stories and needs for successfully reentering society.
When you're handling a case, you're only talking about the facts of probably the worst day of their lives, but you don't get to know who they are and what their story is. And so what I learned is they have an overwhelming desire to have us as prosecutors understand the road that got them here, and they also want to be able to give back so that other people, other kids, youth, young people don't end up in the same place.
Vincent O'Bannon worked closely with Jenkins on the legislation while serving more than 15 years at San Quentin.
I never imagined that I would be on the same side of the table as a district attorney.
He remembers the violence that can erupt in tight cells, often with strangers, adding barriers to the journey towards rehabilitation.
While I was at San Quentin, there had to be at least 5 murders by cellmates. Being alone takes a great weight off of you.
And for Ken, as he walks the exterior of San Quentin, he's hopeful that the system that once worked to confine him is working to improve public safety, both inside and outside its walls.
Finally to Berkeley, and a debate over the 5 feet around your house. Andrea Nakano clears the air on a controversial new proposal.
The aloe, which is very much known to be fire resistant, has to go.
George Perez Velez has lived in the Berkeley Hills for 22 years. He says every year he's complied with every rule to keep his home safe from the next big fire.
We believe in fire mitigation. We believe and respect firefighters. We understand their job is hard, and we believe in having a shared responsibility for public safety. But when someone says this is allowed, this is not allowed, the code says something else, the kind of disconnect between what we're getting, it's not there.
Perez Velez is referring to the Ember proposal, which is in the process of being voted in by the Berkeley City Council. Ember stands for Effective Mitigations for Berkeley Ember Resilience. It would require residents to clear anything flammable within 5 feet of homes, including trees and plants. Perez Velez feels the city didn't do enough to get feedback from the community and doesn't have a plan to pay for it.
But the assumption that a fixed income person, a retiree, or anyone can put out of pocket $5,000 to pay for a fire break for the city without creating a mitigation fund to help folks, it's quite disingenuous.
Berkeley City Council member Brent Blackaby says he hears the concerns of the residents in the district, but has to weigh those concerns with how to best protect roughly 1,800 homes in the high fire severity zone.
And we know that the next fire, if and when it comes, is most likely going to start in the park and come over to the homes here.
Blackaby says with the state passing Proposition 4 last year, it will invest $1 billion in fire prevention over the next 12 months. The city has also secured $1 million from CAL FIRE and is working on a transfer tax credit system to offset the costs.
People know that if we are going to do this right, we need to make it as easy as possible for as many possible people as possible to participate, and financing is a big part of that.
But after seeing the devastation of the fires in Southern California, the city needed to find a way to give firefighters a better chance to save homes.
This is going to take some time. No one says instantaneously you need to sort of have everything fixed, but it's a journey, it's a process, and it's time for us to start the process moving towards the safety that we know we're going to need to achieve.
Perez Velez started an organization called the Alliance for Practical Fire Solutions to find what he calls sensible new regulations. He says his neighbors fully realize the situation they're in and the damage fires can cause, and are all in to keep the community safe.
For 20 years, we had fire inspections. For 20 years, they told us, do this, do this, do this, and you're in compliance. Now, all of a sudden, all that doesn't work.
First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us now on this Saturday morning. And Zoe, we've got heat to talk about, but then a quick cool down?
Yeah, about 20 degrees cooler across our inland locations by tomorrow.
Wow, what a spread.
Yeah, so today, if you like the heat, get out, or head on over the coast if you don't like the heat. And the coastal communities never really warm up all too much for this time of year. We looked at a beautiful time lapse, though, of the fog rolling through the Golden Gate. A little bit of the onshore flow early this morning ushering it in, but that fog quickly lifting throughout the sunrise. And we're going to be continuing to see plenty of sunshine throughout this afternoon. I hope everyone can get out and enjoy themselves. and enjoy maybe the warmer temperatures. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of 50-50. If you like the heat, get out and enjoy it. If you don't, again, head on over to the coast. But this morning, it's a mild start to the day. Temperatures in the 60s to start off the day and 50s, kind of just depending on where you're located. By the afternoon, we are going to continue to warm up to very hot out there. We'll be looking at those high temperatures sitting in the upper 90s once again across our inland areas, mid to upper 90s and 80s in our South Bay communities, kind of depending on where you're located. And here in San Francisco, we'll be in the upper 60s to mid 70s, kind of just depending on where you are. But I do want to let you all know that as we step out of for the years to come, we are going to continue to see more above average days in the summertime, about 28 more days on average since 1970. And we do see above average temperatures in the summer, but I'll let you know how long these above average temperatures will stick around for us over the next couple of days, coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
Coming up after the break, how fresh cuts are inspiring some and debilitating others. We'll explain. To the impact of fresh cuts, Kara St. Cyr takes funding cuts, leaving some Cal Berkeley students uncertain about their future. But first to Oakland, where a new look and new outlook are now one and the same for some future barbers. Here's Suji Nam.
Every great barber knows that a clean set of tools makes for a clean haircut. And that is what Danny Pablo, a senior at Castlemont High School in Oakland, learned on day one.
Tannic strips on him so it doesn't get itchy on his neck.
And now, on his final day of the barber entrepreneur class, you can say he's a talented barber in training.
Another way to express art by cutting hair.
It all began when Pablo was curious about what life would be like as a barber. And when he found out his school offers a free after-school class on barbering and entrepreneurship, he signed up.
Papers, and then also when I do designs.
He practices by cutting his friend's hair on the weekend, and in class, he has the opportunity to cut real hair, not just on a mannequin.
Vertical sides as well? Yes, please.
This is one of his teachers, an instructor at the Paul Mitchell Barber School in the East Bay. Pablo gets real-life experience, like several other of his classmates who learn how to master different hairstyles. Frank West founded the Barber Entrepreneur Program 3 years ago.
My background is really about, doing things positive in the community, and at Castlemont, it's kind of important too because it's like my neighborhood.
He works with 7 professional barbers who dedicate their time to students after school. About 40 students meet twice a week to learn not only how to style hair, but also how to start and run a business.
My hope is that people like Danny are going to come back to the school and then reproduce what I did and stuff, be able to give back. As a teacher, you always like to see that light bulb go off and stuff, so you see a lot of the kids come in here and it's, a wonderful thing.
And the light bulb did go off for Pablo.
It motivates me to continue every day, like I have a purpose in living. I see myself as a barber when I graduate high school. I'm thinking of getting my license and hopefully open a barbershop of my own.
You never know. You may be looking to get a haircut, and you just might see Pablo on the other side.
To Berkeley now, and a gutting for some Grizzlies. Kara St. Cyr explores a vital environmental program that is now at risk.
Lauren Pong is soaking up her last days as a GrizzlyCorp fellow before funding cuts leave her jobless.
After choosing a pay cut, especially for something like this, and we get the rug pulled out under us, it's kind of not great.
GrizzlyCorp is a UC Berkeley environmental program. It has more than 24 host sites across California, where 45 fellows can focus on areas like forest management, fire mitigation, or in Lauren's case, agriculture. But GrizzlyCorp is funded by AmeriCorps. The Trump administration recently announced it'll end $400 million in AmeriCorps grants nationwide, putting fellows like Lauren in a hard place. Her program is set to end in July.
We already chose something that will serve other people and sacrificed, our wallets for that. And to even have that taken away.
The cuts affect more than just her. Small farmers like George rely on Lauren to help keep their businesses running.
This was probably tomato, just a tomato.
She translates important documents. helps George adapt his farm for climate change, and in some cases, passes his concerns to lawmakers.
This is about getting their voices to policymakers.
All these girls help our small farm a lot by the communication and give some guideline and some government support, all this kind of information to us.
A spokesperson for the organization says GrizzlyCorp needs to recoup $1.5 million in funding to restart the program next year. They're now looking for private donations, but that doesn't give Lauren much hope.
How am I going to do basic things like eat and pay my rent?
Her future is still uncertain.
And we're looking at some hot weather again today, but a cool down and some windy weather is on the way. I'll let you know when to expect it coming up.
7:20 on this Saturday morning. Welcome back. Let's get over to First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz. We've got a warm weather pattern to finish out.
Yes, the heat, I wouldn't call it a heat wave because technically it has to be like 3 consecutive days of well above average. I mean, it kind of is well above average, but yesterday was the peak of it. Today it's still going to be very hot though, and potentially dangerously hot across those inland areas. If you saw the upper 90s yesterday, like Antioch, Fairfield, you're once again going to see them again today because we are going to continue to see high pressure building in. This high pressure has been dominating for the past several days, and it will continue to dominate into today. However, you do notice to our north a little bit of cloud coverage, and it's this cloud coverage that is going to be bringing us a cool down by the time that we step out tomorrow. So a cold front is on the way, which is going to bring us cooler weather this upcoming week. But over the next 8 to 14 days, we're actually looking at well above average temperatures. This area in red signifies likely going to be well above average throughout the middle part of June. So I guess that these hot temperatures aren't going to stick around for long, but then again, it's going to stick around just in general when it comes to likely above average, but not necessarily to the extent that we have been seeing them the past several days. Cloud coverage isn't going to be too much of an issue as we step out through the late morning. Cloud coverage is already beginning to burn off, and it's going to stick around throughout, again, the late morning hours before that frontal boundary heads our way later this afternoon and evening. Before it does so, temperatures will continue to warm up to those hot levels into our inland areas. We'll be seeing them in the upper 90s to triple digits potentially once again across places like I said, Antioch and Fairfield. Down in the Santa Clara Valley, like San Jose, you're going to be in the upper 80s compared to mid 90s like what you were yesterday. So a couple of degrees cooler, but it's still going to be hot out there. And the closer to the coast you get, the more you'll be dealing with the onshore winds. It's not going to be windy today, but it's just the microclimates that we're used to this time of year. Mid to lower 60s across our coastal communities compared to mid to upper 60s like what we saw yesterday. So a degree or two cooler this afternoon compared to yesterday, but we still do have those heat advisories in effect because it is still going to be dangerous for any extended period of time outdoors. By tomorrow, though, you'll notice these colors not nearly as deep or as dark of red. That just signifies that cold front that passed overhead, and high temperature is going to be about 10 to 20 degrees cooler tomorrow compared to today. So it really kind of depends on what weather you like, but especially for our coastal communities that are going to be back in the upper 50s tomorrow, today is the day to get out and about and enjoy yourself because it is going to be really nice out there. Didn't mean to pull that one back up. We are going to continue to see these nice conditions with plenty of sunshine this afternoon. And honestly, even though there will be a little bit more cloud coverage tomorrow, it's the winds that we are going to be most concerned about. The onshore flow picking up, bringing us gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon. So not only is it going to be cooler, it's also going to be windier and just a little bit cloudier as that storm system moves overhead, bringing us little to no chances for any sort of rain, but it's going to keep those cooler temperatures in place into early next week. But cooler is all relative. It's still going to be in the upper 70s for our inland areas, just no longer going to be in the 90s like what we're feeling today. Back to you.
Zoe, coming up, a game of death and the honor of a lifetime. San Francisco pays tribute to a native son. Next. Stay with us. It is the last day of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and this morning we close things out with a legend. Here's Ryan Yamamoto on some fists of fury now preserved in bronze.
Jeff Chin, who was born in San Francisco's Chinatown, owns one of the largest collections of Bruce Lee memorabilia, including a replica of the yellow jumpsuit from the Game of Death.
I consider it one of his most famous suits because it was worn in other movies such as Kill Bill.
But for Chin, Bruce Lee is more than just a movie star. He is a hero who he believes should be honored by the city of San Francisco, much like Hong Kong, Eastern Europe, and Los Angeles, who have all built statues of the martial arts icon.
A statue is the highest form of honor that you can bestow upon someone.
And his wish became one step closer to reality when community leaders held a press conference at the Chinese Historical Society of America Museum to announce the first steps to raise $250,000 to build a statue of Bruce Lee in Chinatown.
I think that this statue has an ability to bring a self-directed artwork that stakes a claim for local people in Chinatown to believe in Portsmouth Square as it's changing in the future.
The announcement sparking a moment for Chin.
So, from my heart, thank you, Bruce. This statue is for you. Thank you.
The emotion coming from a time when Chin, as a young boy, was bullied for being Chinese. His only escape, watching Bruce Lee on the silver screen, giving him confidence to see someone larger than life that looked like him.
I never met him, but he actually helped me out. And till my dying day, I will do my best to pay him back in any way that I can.
A gift he hopes will bring San Francisco's native son back home.
A wonderful story to cap off our Saturday showcase. That does it for us at 7. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Have a great day.